If you asked a skateboarder to define what they do, you might get answers like,
skateboarding is the very act of a board with trucks and four wheels and you getting on it and doing whatever you want to do.
And art. Life. Creativity.
It's about having fun and hanging out with your friends.
I mean, it's riding around on a wooden toy.
Skateboarding is just having fun. It's doing something. It's what's great about it is non-competitive, but it's also with your friends. You push each other, and you just push to be as good as you can be, and that's the fun of it.
So, as you can see, there's no one answer to this question, but it does leave me wondering, is skateboarding a game?
It can be.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, sometimes it is. Like if you're hanging out with your buds and you want to get to skate. But sometimes it can be like a serious thing, so it just depends.
No.
No. It's a lifestyle choice. Like anyone who's serious about it, it's like an uncontrollable urge. You dread it and you anticipate it at the same time. You can't wait to do it, but it's almost a heavy burden because it's just all you know at that point.
Yeah, it's not a sport. I mean, you want to learn tricks and whatnot, but you're also psyched when everybody else lands tricks too, so it's not really competitive.
I think it can be, yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're a competitive person, you're going to find a way to make a game out of it. I mean, this game of skate is a huge thing amongst, the skateboarders. So yeah, for sure.
If you play the game skate, it is a game because you're playing against somebody and you have to do the same thing. But the way modern skateboarding's done, what we see, it's a pageant because it's judged by somebody else. So
Games intrinsically have an end and a beginning, and they also have there's something you have to do, right? And I don't think in skateboarding you ever have to do anything. There's no rules. Games always have rules. Skateboarding has no fucking rules.
Bernard Suits defines a game as a voluntary attempt to overcome unnecessary obstacles.
According to Bernard Suits, a game should have three things. Firstly, a goal that is obtainable outside of the prescriptive rules. This is the pre-illusory goal. Secondly, there must be rules that make obtaining the goal inefficient. And finally, there must be an attitude of the player to voluntarily abide by the rules in order to play the game. This is illusory attitude. So if you've got a goal in skateboarding, say, getting up the curb, with rules like you can only go up the curb by way of the skateboard, then the skater agrees to abide by the rules in order to achieve the goal. You've got a game. It seems to me, skateboarding as a whole is a lifestyle of a bunch of games, and that sounds pretty fun, but these games have a cost.
You gotta know how to fall to be a professional skateboarder.
Fuck it!
In most circumstances, destruction like you've just seen may be considered points of moral contention. But in a game, could these instances of destruction be transformed into something of value? T. Nguyen discusses this in his paper Games and the Moral Transformation of Violence. And although his focus is primarily on multiplayer shooter games, his points might still apply in the solitary game of skateboarding. Nguyen advocates that instances of violence could be re-signified into something interesting, enjoyable, or valuable in the context of a game. This is achieved through a very specific type of gameplay, in addition to the fact that these games provide a vessel of conversation about moral ideas, like the ones we're having right now. Nguyen is using violence in terms of any chasm between someone's will and one's experience. I think this can extend to the struggle of trying a skate trick over and over, which can often involve bodily harm or extreme frustration. Based off of this experience and Nguyen's description, I believe skating can be thought of as a type of striving play. This is when we partake in an activity for the sake of the activity. It can be for the achievement of the game, but more so for the actual experience of struggling itself. To quote Nguyen, the striving player wishes to be engaged in the activity. So when the player is playing for the sake of the struggle, in addition to whatever goal is sought after, the means themselves become valuable. This taking up of the struggle is what gives the activity its worth for the player. The goal and strife are a cooperative effort that results in the transformation of violence into something of value. It makes things interesting. Even though there is violence or destruction going on, it is not the re-signification in the game that makes it valuable. It is the combination of the rules of the game with the intention of the player that has transformed the act into something valuable. The violence must be something that helps the in-game agent out of the game as well, because it aligns with their desire for striving play. So, destruction of someone else's property, or grievous bodily harm to oneself, is still wrong, even though it could be happening within the game, because those things are bad for the player in-game and out. Only when the gameplay is helping the player achieve their goal of striving play should the struggle and frustration be considered good enough to achieve the moral transformation. In Nguyen's words, it is not an automatic consequence of gameplay, but rather something of an achievement. That point is what distinguishes this as bad, and this as okay. Though it may be the case, skating shouldn't apply here at all, since it may not even be a game, it may have absolutely no rules, and though it has a community, the activity itself is quite solitary. Many skaters identify with the countercultural lifestyle. That lifestyle embraces whatever is destructive to societal conventions, and for the skater, this is what makes the morality transformative, in that the destruction is an artistic self-expression. Take Love Park, for example. Created in Philadelphia by city planner Edmund Bacon and architect Vincent Kling, Love Park became a haven for skateboarders who transformed its original purpose into one that served their own community. When the city attempted to ban skating at Love Park, even Edmund Bacon, at age 92, broke the law and skated there to protest what he believed was an overstepping of city regulations and a suffocation of creative expression.
United States, and I deliberately skate in my beloved Love Park. Oh. My whole damn life has been worth it just for this moment.
Regardless of the semantics and opinions over whether or not skateboarding should be considered a game, or whether or not its tendency towards destruction is transformative, I believe the best thing about skateboarding can be summed up by Jay Huizinga in his work, Man of Play. So I will leave you with this quote. A play community generally tends to become permanent even after the game is over. The feeling of being apart together in an exceptional situation, of sharing something important, of mutually withdrawing from the rest of the world and rejecting the usual norms, retains its magic beyond the duration of the individual game.